Hare Krishna. Welcome to a brand episode of On Folk Life on Transcendental Thursday. Make America great again. Trump has won the election with landslide victory. Within just a couple of weeks, he has done a sweeping changes in this policy, especially the foreign policy, US aid cutting and getting tariff wars with the neighboring countries, including India and China. And things seems to be getting better and better for the country, seems to be so, but critics have their own apprehensions. But what is the spiritual take of this? How can America be actually great and that can deliver the whole world based on teachings of Swami Srila Prabhupada, and more on this particular episode. Before that, let us seek the blessings and let us seek the blessings of Srila Prabhupada with this prayers. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshtarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Prabhupada and America has a very sweet, special relationship. In fact, Prabhupada chose this tract of land, the United States of America, to launch his movement, the Hare Krishna movement, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. He landed on this tract of land in 1965 in Boston, and in 1966 he launched his movement, worldwide Hare Krishna movement in New York. So America played a vital role in propagating Krishna consciousness message. The people, especially his disciples who were American, took it so seriously that not only they practiced themselves but became instrumental cause in spreading it throughout the world. Having said that, Prabhupada also had apprehensions about America's prowess. He appreciated the prosperity, the richness, the dynamic spirit, but he saw some deep societal flaws and challenges. Basically, a society driven by pure sense gratification. And on contrast, in comparison to India, he felt that they lack the spiritual strength, and there are certain shortcomings in that. So one of the feature which Prabhupada appreciated about America or Americans was its material accomplishments, its success in material pursuits and practical intelligence. Prabhupada's one quoted, "You have everything in America. Money, intelligence, enthusiasm. If you simply take to Krishna consciousness," he says, seriously, then the whole world will follow you. Why did Prabhupada start Krishna consciousness movement in the West, especially in America, especially in New York? Because that is the place where the whole world wants to go. That is a place where everyone wants to emulate, to follow in the footsteps of whatever America does, the rest of the world follows, whatever it is. Hence, Prabhupada also wanted to start a spiritual organization in America. If Americans took it up seriously, then the whole world will take it up seriously. That was his intention, and that's why he said Americans has to take it. If America takes up to Krishna consciousness, in a conversation in 1973, says the whole world will pursue, will follow. Just like now they are following America in materialism, they'll follow America in spiritualism too. Another important point Prabhupada looked up upon the America's shortcoming is this culture of spiritual blindness and culture of sense gratification. There, everything is driven by gratification. Of course, not only in America, today in Kali Yuga, across the globe, that is the primary purpose of everyone. Just enjoy. Who has seen the next life? Zindagi na milega dobara. And the pinnacle of materialism was presented by America in those days, and even today, of course, for that matter. So he frequently, overly, uh, aptly criticized this emphasis on the bodily pleasures. I'll give an example. Just for satisfying that palate in an hour, a very old stat, close to 7 lakh animals are slaughtered in an hour. Old stats, I'm telling. The amount of therapist people who look upon to the therapist is on high. The kind of challenges they go through because of this height of sense gratification. Drug abuse, substance abuse, height. LSD was discovered those days accidentally. It became a rage. Today, it is a huge problem. Drugs from Mexico, drugs from other parts of the world just flock America, and from celebrities to politicians to youngsters, everyone is involved. The gun violence is on top. That's what Prabhupada was telling. They are working so hard for what? To satisfy their tongue, their stomach, and their genitals. And this he terms it as animal life, not human form of life. And that's why they're endlessly succumb to the cycle of consumption, chasing happiness in the material plane, on the bodily plane, and getting frustrated, pissed off, and not being able to satisfy. That is the nature of happiness on the material plane, on the bodily plane. It will only give you pain. As Krishna says in the Gita, in the beginning it is nectarian, but later it gets transformed into poison. And dukkha yona evata it is. It's a source of miseries. That's what Prabhupada in one of the conversation in 1975, he comments, in America they have everything in abundance. Still, they are not satisfied. I was giving the example of drug abuse, substance abuse. Billions of dollars are spent by the government of America to help their citizens to give up substance abuse. But they are not able to transform. On the contrary, Prabhupada, just by introducing chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra and Prasadam, they gave up instantly, easily, without any urge to do it. The tendency itself has gone. That's what those American pastors and priests, they appreciated Prabhupada. These American boys and girls, they're our boys and girls. They were never coming to the church. Now they are mad after God, and they've given up all those sins, cardinal sins. And he goes on to say, because of which they are always in anxiety. Prabhupada says, because they're on the material plane, because they're material enjoyment, they're always in anxiety. How will I maintain position? How will I make more money? The cost of living is too high there. And because of which the American youth, they're interested in spirituality. That's why since the beginning of 20th century or even in 19th century itself, lot of Asians, Eastern philosophical people used to throng America because of the hunger for spirituality in the West, especially Americans. From the so-called Swamis, many of them flocked America to give their so-called spirituality and just try to satisfy the spiritual urge of the Americans, but everyone except Srila Prabhupada cheated them badly. And that's what happened when Prabhupada offered genuine spiritual content, stuff which will actually satisfy the soul. And that's what Prabhupada says, I was successful because of this. Prabhupada says, these young American boys and girls, they're frustrated with the so-called metal civilization. Prabhupada used to tell their family members, their tradition, their culture, they're given up that. And they're in the street, being hippies. They are searching for something higher. That's why Prabhupada, be high forever. An alternative for their drug abuse, drugs and substance abuse. And that is why they are taking to Krishna consciousness. This was Prabhupada's comment in 1976 in a lecture. He says that. Now, he also appreciates America's role in global spread of Krishna consciousness. I said initially because of the Americans who took up Krishna consciousness seriously, most of them are empowered by Prabhupada, and because of which the whole world took it up to Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada sent all his American disciples to Europe, to Australia, then to African countries, even Asian countries, even Russia. He tried his best when he was physically present, and because of which today you go to any nook and corner, you'll find a ISKCON temple in every city in the world today. He boldly declared about Americans, if America takes to Krishna consciousness, the whole world will change. That is the power of Americans. I'm not just eulogizing them, because if America has to become great, Trump has to do this seriously. He helped the Hare Krishnas to organize the Jagannath Rath Yatra. Now, if he has to really make America great again, this is what I would request the Honorable President of America, that please give the message of Krishna consciousness to the American people. Please help us to spread this message of Bhagavad Gita, and you will see people will be really, really happy and satisfied to the highest extent possible. And that will make America actually in really a great nation. And he had a concern, especially for the leaders. He said to the leaders, appealing to the leaders, in 1975, he said, America's leaders are making policies, just like Trump is making policies these days, without knowledge of Krishna. He says that means everything will collapse in due course of time. Material prosperity without spiritual knowledge is simply temporary arrangement. That's why he implored all the leaders of the society to embrace Krishna consciousness, ask questions, make the principles of Bhagavad Gita a common phenomenon in the society. And if the leaders take it from the front, and that will impact everyone. Just like I was hearing about the US aid, for what and all the United States of America under aid policy were giving money to the whole world for election campaign, for LGBTQs, and so many other things. If imagine even 1% of that resources, those wealth, was given to Krishna consciousness movement to spread the message of the Lord, that would have been a great boon to the whole society, especially the Western society. But he had a hope, and he worked for it, and he had a desire for America's renaissance. His vision was very, very clear about America. America should use its wealth, its intelligence to serve Krishna, not just for material advancement. This is what the appeal, what I would do to those leaders who are making policies in DOGE under the leadership of Musk. Alone, the youth should take to spiritual leadership as they spread the Krishna consciousness worldwide, especially the American youths. If America embraced Krishna consciousness, the rest of the world will follow. This was the prophecy and intent of Swami Prabhupada for American leadership to pursue, and even for the American population to take it up Krishna consciousness seriously. And he always commented that America is blind spiritually, India is lame materially. If both of them combine together, then that can make history. People talk about India being Vishwaguru, and Vishwaguru can become Vishwaguru only based on its spiritual strength. India's USP is not factories, chips, or metal advancement. It doesn't mean that we should not endeavor for all those things, but our primary fundamental core understanding of India's true strength or original resource is its spiritual values. If the spiritual values of India's are used as a eye, and the blind Western civilization can be given direction from the lame man, and both of them can together cooperate each other and lead the whole world to happiness, bliss, and true joy. by making them Krishna conscious. And that is the most important aspect of India, is that India's unique spiritual wealth. As I said, India's wealth is not factories, industries. India's wealth is Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita. If India simply understands its own spiritual knowledge, that's why we are tiringly working hard to spread this message and distribute this knowledge, the whole world will benefit. That's the duty of every Indian. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Bharata Bhumila Hoila Janma Yara, Karo Janma Sartak, Karo Paropakar. It's the duty of every Indian to make his life perfect by becoming Krishna consciousness, reading Bhagavad Gita, and most importantly, he should share. And Prabhupada cautioned why there's a decline in spirituality due to the Western imitation. We Indians, we imitate the Westerns thanks to colonial rule and British administration, and later on the policies of the different governments which came in. And whatever we do, it all Western. The language I'm speaking is English. Of course, the clothes are different now for me. But generally, if you observe the general populace at large, the food what they eat is the Western food these days. The clothes what they wear is the Western. The language what they speak is Western. The habits they have is called Western. There's nothing Indianness about the Indian, of course, except the accent. So Prabhupada was unhappy because the West was Indians were aping the West blindly. He approached many influential people of those times in 40s and 50s and 60s, but nobody was interested. Approached politicians, industrialists, everyone was interested in industrialization, factories. Mera beta lawyer banega us time, BA, LLB, MA. Nobody was interested. And they were all just imitating the West blindly. And that's what Prabhupada lamented about Indians. He said, instead of following the principles of Bhagavad Gita, Indians are trying to imitate the Western world. And they cannot imitate completely also. And they cannot give up their own culture. So they are neither there, neither here. You understand what I mean? But Prabhupada goes on to lament, what is the result of imitating the Westerners? He says, Westerners are coming to India in search of spiritual life. Recently, Kumbh Mela, lot of white-skinned Americans, Westerners, they're flocking India to get the spiritual understanding, spiritual knowledge, want to practice spiritual life. And we go to Canada, we go to America, we fight for the passports, we take the donkey route to reach there, we use the Mexican route, we pay 1 crore rupees to reach there, as a big American dream. But Americans want to come to India for practice of Krishna consciousness. Just see the contrast. Indians are running after money, and they are running after spirituality. This is foolishness. Indians' foolishness. So Prabhupada didn't want this foolishness to continue. It's a responsible state. And that's what I said. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order it is, Bharata Bhumila. You've taken birth in Bharatvarsh, which is very rare. Any human birth is it's rare, but birth in Bharatvarsha even more rare. And we are in such a tenure in history that things are becoming favorable. Indians are becoming prosperous because poverty was something because of which they didn't embrace spirituality. Thanks to Mughals rule and Britishers rule and the Western rule and the policies of the government then, by and large, Indians were still in the poverty. Now the economy is picking up, people are having money and they're able to satisfy their basic needs. And now they're able to think about the existence of life after death. Who am I? Why am I suffering? Look at the sheer number of people visiting Mahakumbh even in 2025. Just imagine 66 crore, half the population of India visited Mahakumbh because they're seekers. They know that's life after death. They know they have sinned. They have to cleanse themselves. They don't want further sin. Spirituality runs in the veins of Indians. Unfortunately, the media, the social media, the print, the leaders, and actors and influencers and celebrities are just misleading them, leading the blind into the ditch. But they have tried very best to stop the spirituality of India. But you see, And that things are getting favorable. They are visiting temple. They are embracing Krishna consciousness. They are embracing their culture. They flaunt their culture. Now, but it has to be backed up by Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it becomes mere sentimental. So for that, we have to tighten our belt, go out, and share this message of Prabhupada. I appeal all the youngsters who are watching this. It's our responsibility. It's our duty. Prabhupada saved us from all this anarthas and unwanted things and the philosophy of atheism, philosophy of Mayavada. So it's our responsibility to take it seriously and spread. One who has taken birth in the land of Bharatavarsha, he has to do it. India should not become beggar. Those days, Prabhupada, when he made this statement, India's condition was so pathetic. For everything we used to beg. For everything we need to depend on the West. At that point, he commented this: India should not become a beggar nation. He should be the spiritual master of the world. And that is her real position. Her real position, India's real position is the spiritual master of the whole world. Vishwa Guru requires a Vishwa Guru requires a Vishwa Guru, Srila Prabhupada, to make it happen. And Prabhupada has done it independently, alone. But if the Indians cooperate now, and if the Western leaders cooperate, then that can take the whole world by the storm of Krishna consciousness and make them happy. In 1971, Prabhupada laments that Indians were not taking up to Krishna consciousness. He was unhappy that Indians were not at all interested in it. That's why he made sure that he bought his dancing white American and European elephants. He proudly used to call his American disciples. Now he says in 1971 lecture, I have bought these Americans. I have bought Krishna consciousness to America, and Americans are taking it very seriously. But when I come back to India, in 71 when he visited, I see that Indians are not at all interested. They say, oh, we know all this, Krishna, Rama, I know, mujhe sikhaoge. But actually, they do not know. It's our responsibility. So he laments about it. And he also laments about India's was known for its great sages, renunciants, devotees. But now instead of producing saintly persons, India used to be a production of saintly persons, production house of saintly persons. India is producing so-called scientists, politicians, and film stars. This is degradation. He lamented like that. There's a hope. Yes, the hope is you are now Krishna conscious. Now you should take Krishna consciousness seriously. Prabhupada instructing all Indians. Now you are now taking Krishna consciousness seriously. That's what I told general by and large. When you go to India, he's instructing one of his disciple. When you go to India, chant Hare Krishna seriously. The Indian people will see, oh, these foreigners, they have taken the culture of India. Maybe we should also take it seriously. That's why whenever in India, even today, somehow they are attracted to white-skinned Europeans and Americans. And when they visit India, flock India with the chanting beats, kanti, dhoti, kurta, with their family, children, all decked up in a Krishna conscious attire, the Indians just gets flabbergasted looking at them, and they just are awestruck. And that's what Prabhupada wanted, and Prabhupada has done that. So that's what Prabhupada has a message for the Indians. Stop imitating the West, take Krishna consciousness seriously, and become the center. Focus should be Krishna. And if Americans and Indians understand this, and the leadership especially, they understand this, the Honorable Prime Minister and the President, both of them seems to be friends. If they understand this Krishna consciousness, then they cooperate for so many things. If they also cooperate for this propagating of Krishna consciousness message, deadly combination. The whole world will become Vaikuntha. So if America has to be great, not by mere policy changes, what those two personalities, Trump and Elon Musk, is doing, they have to add Krishna consciousness. And you see just what happens after that. This is what I want to share about the topic of today's class. If you have any questions, comments, love to take it. Until then, Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Make America, India, and the whole world great by taking Krishna consciousness seriously.